KSJE and the Farmington Public Library present Cuentos Hahne and Tales.
Hello, my name is Beth Troxell, and I am from the Farmington Public Library. I'm here to read you some stories from our collection. The first book that I picked was called Pancho Rabbit and the Coyote. It's a migrant's tale. This award-winning author and illustrator, Duncan, Tonatiuh, brings to light the hardship and struggles facing families who seek to make better lives for themselves and their children by illegally crossing the borders. This is called Pancho Rabbit and the Coyote, a migrant's tale. One spring, the rains did not come, and the crops could not grow. So Papa Rabbit, Senor Rooster, Senor Ram, and other animals from the rancho set out north to find work in the great carrot and lettuce fields. There they could earn money for their families. Many harvests went by, and it was finally time for Papa Rabbit to return home. His family was preparing a big fiesta. Everyone on the rancho was excited to see him, especially Pancho Rabbit, his eldest son. I heard Mama telling Senor Duck that Papa saved enough money in El Norte so that he won't ever have to leave us again, Pancho told his brother and sisters. They were helping Mama cook Papa his favorite meal, mole, rice, and beans, and a heap of warm tortillas and a jug full of fresh aquamil. The musicians arrived and began to tune their instruments while Pancho and his sister hung Papa's decoration to decorate the patio. The rabbit's friends from the rancho began to arrive. They listened to the music, they ate some mole, and they waited and waited, but Papa Rabbit did not appear. He must have had a late start, said Mama Rabbit. Maybe the weather was bad and he had to find shelter, said Pancho's youngest sister. They waited some more, but still Papa Rabbit was not to be seen. When it was dark, the musicians and the guests said their goodbyes and headed home. Your Papa will certainly arrive by morning, Senora Rabbit told Pancho and his family. After waiting and worrying long into the night, the rabbit family finally went to bed. Except for Pancho. I have to find my father, he thought. He packed Papa's favorite meal, mole, rice and beans, a heap of still warm tortillas, and the jug full of fresh water. He placed it in a packet to carry on his back and headed out. Pancho followed the stars north. After walking a while, he met a coyote. Good evening, little rabbit. Where are you going? Good evening, Senor Coyote. I am going north to meet my papa. He has been working in the carrot and lettuce fields, replied Pancho. It will take you days and days to get there on the trail, replied the coyote. I can show you a shortcut. That is, if you give me that sweet and spicy mole you have. I spied it a mile away. Pancho did not wish to give his father's mole away, but he missed him terribly. As long as it gets me closer to Papa, he said, and he let the coyote have it. The coyote led Pancho to the train tracks. As the sun rose, he showed Pancho how to jump on a passing car. The train was running so fast, poor Pancho almost fell off. They rode atop the train, zooming through the countryside. When the train slowed for a curve, Pancho and the coyote leaped off. We must now cross this river, said the coyote. Senor Coyote, I don't know how to swim, said Pancho. The water was murky and rushed by very fast. He was scared. I can help you reach the other side, said the coyote, but I will be exhausted after I do. Once we cross, I will need to eat the rice and beans you're carrying to regain my strength. "Fine," said Pancho, "as long as it gets me closer to Papa." The Coyote picked up a tire that was junked on the riverbank. Pancho gathered all his courage and held on tight. Splash! They jumped into the river. The Coyote helped him to float to the far bank, and although he did not want to, Pancho gave the Coyote the rice and beans, just as he'd promised. The sun was high in the sky now. Pancho and the Coyote walked on and soon reached a very tall fence that separated the south from the north. It was impossible to jump or climb over. "There is a tunnel we can use," said the Coyote, "but the snakes watch it. If you give them the tortillas you are carrying, I'm sure they will let us through." "As long as it gets me closer to Papa," Pancho said, and sighed. The Coyote talked to the snakes. They agreed to let him pass, but demanded every single one of Pancho's tortillas. Pancho and the Coyote entered the tunnel. It was dark, narrow, and very long. When they emerged, Pancho and the Coyote were on the north side of the fence. They were in El Norte. The afternoon sun beat down on them, and there was no shade. The Coyote pointed to a hut in the distance. "We can spend the night there," he said. "In the morning I will take you to the great carrot and lettuce fields, and there you will find your Papa." Pancho and the Coyote walked under the desert sun, but poor Pancho's feet ached. "Give me some of that water you have, little rabbit," said the Coyote. "I feel dizzy. If I don't drink something, I will collapse, and we will never get there." Pancho gave the Coyote some of the water. The sand and the air was scorching hot, and Pancho felt dizzy. He was very thirsty, and he drank the remainder. "Oh, as long as it gets me closer to Papa," repeated Pancho to himself in a daze. When Pancho and the Coyote reached the hut, it was dark. The Coyote built a small fire for light and warmth, because at night the desert is freezing cold. "I am so hungry after all that walking," said the Coyote. "Do you have any more mole, little rabbit?" "No, Señor Coyote. You ate it all." "Any more rice and beans?" "No, Señor Coyote. You ate them all." "Any more tortillas?" "No, Señor Coyote. The snakes ate them all. There is nothing left, not even a drop of water." "In that case," said the Coyote, "I will roast you in the fire and eat you." With a cry, Pancho leapt for the door. He was the fastest animal back on the rancho, and normally he could outrun the Coyote. But he was tired from the long journey. He could not reach the door. He could not reach the window. All he could do was huddle in a corner as the Coyote slowly approached. Suddenly, the door was thrown open. Who entered but Papa Rabbit and Señor Ram and Señor Rooster. They soon had the Coyote racing outdoors and far away with his tail between his legs. "Panchito, mijo," said Papa Rabbit, and he gave Pancho a hug. "I thought I would never see you again." "A gang of crows attacked us," said Señor Rabbit. "They took the money and gifts we were bringing back to our families and left us stranded in the desert." "We heard your cry for help," said Señor Ram. "Your papa recognized your voice. We ran to you as fast as we could." "Papa," said Pancho, "I am so happy to find you, and I know the way home." So Pancho led Papa's Rabbit, Señor Rooster, and Señor Ram home. When they arrived, there was a big fiesta. There was mole, rice and beans, warm tortillas, fresh water, and music for everyone on the rancho. Pancho told his brother and sisters about all the dangers he and Papa had faced. "Please don't leave us again," said the rabbit children. "We were so worried for you." "I don't want to leave you," said Papa Rabbit, "but the crows took all our money. If it doesn't rain enough again this year, and if there is no food or work here on the rancho, what else am I to do? We will have to leave again." "And I will come with you," said Pancho. "We will all go with you," said Pancho's brothers and sisters. "Let's hope it rains," says Mama. So that was the story of Pancho, Rabbit, and the Coyote, and a Migrant's Tale. So the next book that I'm going to read to you is called Lorraine, the Girl Who Sang the Storm Away. This is written by Ketch, Secor. So this is about Lorraine and her papa, who spend their days celebrating life with the music of the Tennessee Hills. This Old Crow Medicine Show founder and Grammy Award winner musician Ketch Secor teams up with Ashley Bryan, award-winning illustrator Higgins Bond, to create the sweeping epic Americana story about the power of music and family. This is for Lydia and for the beautiful grandchildren. On a Tennessee farm where the music grows wild lived a pitchforking papa and his fearless grandchild. Snakes didn't scare her, and neither did spiders. Lorraine had a cartload of courage inside her. Oh, the ruckus they raised when the workday grew dark, with Lorraine on her whistle and Papa on his harp. The songs they sang always lifted their spirits, on good days or bad. It was joyful to hear it. And even when storms hit those Tennessee hills, the music they played made their worries stand still. One morning they played 'neath the chinky pin tree, when, by jingo, a crow landed right at their feet. "Look, Papa, he dances. Let's play it again." Well, by the last chorus, she found a true friend. But one day at breakfast, Lorraine thought, "That's weird. The bright, shiny brass dinner bell disappeared." And out in the pig pen, she noticed something strange. The tin scoop was missing from the bin full of grain. Then the keys simply vanished from poor Papa's pocket. When he went to the barn gate, he couldn't unlock it. Soon, all of the shiniest things in the place were gone, pinched, lifted, without any trace. "It's a thief," said Lorraine, "and he's gone on a spree." By gum, wondered Papa, just who could it be? One drizzling night, as the whole farm lay sleeping, a frightening sound started rolling and creeping. While rain lightly pattered, the wind began lashing, and a Tennessee tempest came crashing and bashing. Boom, roar, drum-a-rum-rum, crash, bash, rat-a-tat-tum. "Oh, Papa, the storm must be right overhead. I'm fearful, I'm frightened, I'm all full of dread." "There's only one way we can ride out this thunder." "I'll go get my whistle. Let's knock out a number." So Papa reached in where his French harp was kept. "By gum," he said, "I've been harmonica-napped." Then Lorraine looked around, her eyes filled with tears. "My penny whistle's gone. I've had it 9 years." But old smiling Papa hugged her in tight. "Now listen, Lorraine, we'll get through this night. See, a twister can frighten with whirling black wind, and a rainstorm makes landslides and flash floods begin. A tempest could tear this whole home place apart, but it can't touch the music that's deep in your heart." Child, you always make music when you were afraid, and sadly, your instrument's stolen away. But who needs a whistle or some shiny thing when you've got a voice and a song you can sing? Then out from her room she courageously crept. Oh, Papa, you're right. No, we're sure not licked yet. Then Lorraine sang up high, and old Papa sang low, and they stomped and they stamped with the big do-si-do, singing fire on the mountain and pig in the pen, shortening bread, shout Lua, geese in the glen. Oh, they sang and they shouted till the first light of day, and their song chased that storm and their worries away. Quick from the window came Papa's voice calling, "The chickeny pin tree in the front yard has fallen." "Look," stuttered Papa, "do you see what's inside?" "Everything missing," said Lorraine with surprise. For deep in the heart of the smoldering tree lay a trove full of treasures that shine silvery. Papa reached in the dark hiding place, and a smile lit up his weathered old face, for tucked in a hollow, stuffed with weeds and straw and thistle, he found his French harp and Lorraine's penny whistle. They broke into song with their hearts all aglow, when caw, caw, caw came the voice of the crow. He was perched on the stump of the old chinky pin, dancing a jig with a mischievous grin. How their happy eyes shone as they danced to the tune, and they planted a chicky pin seedling to bloom. Then the clouds parted ways as the music rose high, and the sunshine sparkled in the Tennessee sky. So that was the story of Lorraine, the girl who sang the storm away. So the next story that I would like to read to you is called The Crane Girl, adapted by Curtis Manley. And I'd like you to know that interspersed in the story are haikus, but I'm not going to read the haikus today. But if you're interested, you can come over to the library and check it out. It's in the easy section under EMANC. It's called The Crane Girl. Yasuhiro dropped his armload of firewood to follow the sound across the sharp buckwheat stubble of the landlord's field. He almost stepped on the crane, nearly invisible, where it lay in the snow. A trap held 1 foot, but the crane looked unharmed. As Yasuhiro knelt, the bird closed his eyes and shuddered. Yasuhiro clicked his tongue to calm the bird. "I'm not here to hurt you." When the bird stood up, it was as tall as Yasuhiro. He stroked the soft feathers on his long neck with his fingertips, and the bird gently pressed the red top of his head against Yasuhiro's face. The crane suddenly turned away, began running, and took flight over the wintry hills. Yasuhiro watched until the bird was a pale speck against the dark sky. Then he picked up his firewood his father had sent him for and hurried home. The next night someone knocked on the door. Yasuhiro opened it and found a girl standing there, pale and shivering, tears frozen on her cheeks. "Please," she said, bowing, "I have no home and nothing to eat. May I stay here with you? I will help with chores. I won't be any trouble." Yasuhiro led her to the warmth of the hearth. "Father will decide whether you can stay." Yasuhiro's father, Ryota, got up and bowed. "We are not rich like others in town, but you are welcome here as long as you work hard. If you are lazy or steal from me, you cannot stay. Do you agree to that?" "Yes, sir," the girl said, and bowed again. "Thank you. You may call me Hiroko." Yasuhiro and Hiroko became friends. They shared their chores and spent their time together. Each morning, Ryota walked to town looking for work unloading boats or carrying heavy baskets. He returned in the evening and usually with fish or noodles. But when he couldn't find work, he came home with only his sadness, crying the name of Yasuhiro's mother. Mother died when I was young, Yasuhiro whispered to Hiroko one of those nights. Father says she wove the finest kimono silk on the whole island. We still have her loom and thread, but Father had to sell all the fabric she made, except my scarf. Oh, Yaso, it's so beautiful, Hiroko said as she stroked the soft fabric. The next day, Hiroko bowed to Ryota. If it would please you, Ryota-san, I will weave silk for you. It will bring a good price in the market. I have but one request. Neither you nor Yasuhiro must open the door or look at me while I am weaving, no matter how long I might take. Do you agree to that? Yasuhiro and Ryota nodded and said, Yes. Then I will weave for you. She took the bowl of rice and bean sprouts that Yasuhiro offered and closed the door. The loom sounded all that night and the next day. Only after dinner did it fall silent. When Hiroko finally opened the door, she was carrying a bolt of cloth as light as the summer breeze. A merchant brought the silk as much gold as Ryota could earn in 5 months. Now Ryota often slept late, but by the time he walked into the village, there was no work left. Instead, he sat with merchants in the warm sun, eating and drinking all afternoon. The gold was gone in just 3 months. So again, Hiroko closed the door to weave, taking with her a bowl of tofu and ginger that Yasuhiro had prepared for her. This time the girl spent 2 full days with the loom. The fabric was even finer than before. A merchant paid so much that Ryota stopped even trying to look for work. He went to town only to sit by the docks with the merchants and boast of the fine silk he would weave for them. In a few months, all the gold was spent again. More cloth, demanded Ryota. Hiroko looked down at the floor. I am still too weak, sir. Next month I will weave more. You will do it now, insisted Ryota, and before Yasuhiro could stop him, Ryota pushed the girl into the room and slid the door shut. Yasuhiro looked at the door and remembered his promise to Hiroko never to open it. A day passed, then another. The loom's rhythm seemed slower with each passing hour. Ryota paced back and forth. Finally, the loom fell quiet. Are you done with the cloth? Ryota asked and slid the door open. He cried out and fell onto the floor. Yurosha rushed toward his father, but stopped and stared. Through the door, he saw a long, thin neck and feathers flecked with blood, and then a great wing slammed the door shut. Ryota ran past Yasuhiro and stumbled outside into the darkness. When Hiroko finally came out, her face was pale, her eyes were red from crying. Yasu, here is the silk for your father. Once he sells it, he need not bear any burdens for many months. I'm sorry about father, Yasuhiro said, gazing down at the fabric. Hiroko pressed her head against him. Yoroso thought of what he'd seen through the open door and touched Hiroko's neck. Why did you pluck your own feathers for the cloth? You saved my life when I was caught in the trap, said the girl. You were so gentle and kind. I wanted to be with you. Hiroko pulled away from him. But I can stay no longer. She hurried outside and within 3 steps changed back into a crane and flew away. Yorosho ran and ran, calling after her and sobbing. When she was just a dark speck in the dawn sky, he could run no more. He must have fallen asleep, for suddenly Hiroko was bending over him. Yasu, go home. You will freeze here in the snow. I won't go back, said Yasuhiro. Take me with you. Hiroko shook her head. Our life is too different. It is a hard life. You wouldn't like it. I will like it, because I'll be with you. Then follow me. She began running. And flap your wings hard. But I don't have. But he did. He did have wings. Together, they flew low over the hills and along the river to the marshes at the edge of the sea. Her people clacked their beaks in welcome and danced for them. Yasuhiro and Hiroko stayed together all the rest of their long lives and raised many crane children one by one. Spring sun, our chick's feathers wet from the egg. How lucky we all are to be cranes. So that was The Crane Girl, adapted by Curtis Manley. This is Beth from the Farmington Public Library. Thank you for listening. You're welcome to come by to the Farmington Public Library to check out books from our collection.
This has been Cuentos Hahne and Tales, presented by the Farmington Public Library and KSJE 90.9 FM.